Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my hobby home. I know my head's kind of cut off here, but I want you to see what I'm doing today. You see what fabric I have out? Yes, this is the Old Glory fabric, and I am about to start binding the Oh My Stars. That's the Open Gate Quilt April 2024 box large project. So, there is nothing special here. Y'all, how are you doing today? I'm just jumping on in, aren't I? How are you doing today? It has been a wonderful morning so far. I got up bright and early, got in my garden, did a little mowing around. The few beds that I could mow around. I can't mow around all the beds because they're a little bit too close together for me to mow between them. So my husband's going to have to get the weed eater and get out there and get it. But I tell you what, sitting out there, oh my God, I don't need to go sit out there. I get too many ideas. My husband's going to hear about one of them today too when he wakes up. He's still asleep. That's how bright and early it is today. What you see me doing here is just layering it. I always do this just to make sure that I am not messing something up. I use my little friction pen. I will have all of this linked down in the description, items I use. I use my magic pens to hold it together. I use my friction pen to mark it. And I use my little OmniGrid marking tool. So what I'm going to do is just keep going down the line. And this way, because I am going to bind with you guys today. And I've got a very busy day. That's why I went on and got up early. Because my calendar is full today. I actually, yesterday I tried to time slot a lot of things for this whole weekend because I want to get a lot of stuff done this weekend. I have quite a few projects I want to get done. I need to finish my reorg on my house. That's still not done, but hopefully it will be done pretty soon. It's just not, and it's just one bedroom, and which has turned into a bedroom, living room, kitchen, dining room, laundry room reorg. Because in order to reclaim that room as a bedroom, I had to get my bulk food out of there. And in order to do that, I had to clean an area in the laundry room, in my pantry, in my kitchen. So it just created a big old mess. So now I'm going to turn you up just a little bit and get you on the sewing machine. Okay, so here we are. Back up a little bit. And you can still see the top of my machine here. So what I'm going to do is just start with my first little strip that I'm attaching to here. And normally if I have a lot of strips to do, I may not do this. I may do them as I get to them. So, because y'all were catching me all natural also today because I have a hair appointment in a little bit. So I am trying to get this done as fast as possible. But I'm not going to rush it. Because when you rush, you make mistakes. And I'll cut it and open it here in a little bit. So here we go. We're going to get to our second one. I only had 3 strips because this is a table topper. A beautiful table topper. I love it. So let me back up just a little bit where I was telling you about doing my garden work this morning. Oh, I was sitting out there on my bench. I have a bench that my uncle made me several years ago. And I love just go sit out there on it and just look around my garden. And while I do that, sometimes my mind goes running around everywhere on things that I can do. I have a lot of little, it's very natural there. And when I say natural, I mean it's uncut. It's got a lot of underbrush. You know, and that was left like that intentionally because I live close to a roadway and I just don't want people eyeballing my stuff, you know. It's just, I kind of like to live privately. That's the best word for it, privately. I like to be very private. You wouldn't know that because I'm on YouTube, but I do like to live privately. And I will tell anybody, if you're ever in the area and you would like to meet up, I'm perfectly fine meeting up in a public place, you know. Hey, we can go grab us a drink together, a sweet tea, or I don't drink sodas no more. I'm trying not to. And I don't drink coffee. So, but I will have me a half and half tea. That's as far as I can go to that unsweet stuff for my sugar. But, you know, I will happily meet up with you. I work Monday to Thursday, though. So, you know, that has to be taken into consideration. But I love meeting people. I love chatting with people. So don't ever be afraid that if you're in the area and you would like to meet, I'll meet you. I would be happy to. Well, let me press this so I can get to sewing this on. Okay, so now I am back and we are going to put our bind on our little table topper. I am pulling out my clips. I found me a cute little box here to put them in. I am going to clip this one. I don't normally clip. I normally just go with the flow. What I am going to do is sew it on the back and then fold it over and sew it on the front to tack it down. So I have been told by people to do a 3/8 inch seam. So that is what I am going to start with, or that is what I'm going to use. Now I'm just going to put some clips periodically down the side here. Get down to this corner. Going to put that clip right on the very end so I know where to stop. Now see, it's not a very large table topper, which is nice. And I am just going to ease it through here. I try to remember to keep it lined up there. But yeah, hope you guys are having a great day. It's a beautiful day out there. We're not supposed to get any rain until early next week. It is Friday. So y'all know if I'm off and it's early in the morning time, it's Friday. Or Saturday or Sunday. But this is my Friday. Well, it is Friday. And I like to get in my sewing room and get a little something done in the morning time. But I have a lot of food preserving I need to do. I have some onions that my brother-in-law wanted me to freeze dry for him, and I still don't have them freeze dried, but I do have them diced and they are in the freezer getting ready to go in the freeze dryer. Because if you use a freeze dryer, if it's frozen before it goes in the freeze dryer, it goes so much faster. Okay, so I'm removing that clip, but I am kind of marking it with my hand. And I am going to, I always forget to do this part. You sew off the corner of it with the needle down. I just raise my foot there and I turn. Let me fold this up so it's not falling off of my table here. Make sure I'm turned at a full 45 degree. And I am going to just sew off that corner. I will cut that thread. And when I do that, and I've shown y'all this before, but I'll show it again. It doesn't matter. Because every time I bind, I mean, I forget sometimes. But I use that sew line for how to turn this diagonal up here. So I have it going straight up. That creates a straight line right here. So then when I fold it down, now I make sure, now you're not going to see this, but I'll tell you exactly what it is. I make sure I am lined up evenly on the side and across the top. That one's just a little bit too much at the top, so. And when I do that, I'm going to clip that corner together. And then I'm going to clip. Now, a lot of times I don't clip. I'm just doing it this time because I don't want to fight with the binding. So I am just clipping it so it's not, you know, a little wild there. Now, when I start sewing here, I get on that 3/8. I haven't been using that 3/8, but I also make sure, okay, I can remove that clip and get that needle in there. I know I'm right where that angles. So in other words, I'm kind of 3/8 inches away from that top edge as well. And I'm just watching, I'm watching that 3/8 line over here on my machine to make sure I'm not going over it, because that would shorten my, when I turn it over, that would shorten that up. And I thought about this when somebody told me about the 3/8. I'm thinking maybe that 1/4 inch is so you don't, like if you have a point that comes to the edge, like this we have a solid, but say we had this point come to an edge and you don't want to lose that. That's why you would do the 1/4 inch binding. But what you would have to do, if you want your binding to be filled out, you would have to leave like a 1/4 inch of your, you may not have to leave a full 1/4 inch, like maybe 1/8 of an inch of your batting to fill in your binding, unless you're okay with having a flat binding. You know, when you do that, because when you turn it over, when you flip that over, if you do more than a 1/4 inch, it may cut that corner off. I've not tried this, so it's not an experienced thing. It's a, you know, thinking thing, okay, if I use 3/8, am I cutting something off? But I have quite a few projects that I'm wanting to work on this weekend. Y'all will be seeing them throughout the week, but I do have, I literally have my weekend time slotted. Like everything I do has a time slot right now. I had hoped to be able to go to a consignment shop in a local town because I actually consigned all of the formal dresses. And I don't know, those formal dresses right there that I've got to do some cleaning and mending on. And I'll have those taken to her once that's done. But y'all, I didn't realize that she's got nice clothes in there. She has like the upper end, and please don't let it sound like I don't, you know, I don't like things like that, because that is far from the truth. To me, it's like thrift shopping. I love it. But I never thought, because in her window, she always has like formal dresses and all hanging up there. So I never thought, hey, she's got regular clothes in there too. But when I was talking to her, come to find out, I know her. I know her sister, so I know of her. Her sister and I went to school together. So I was asking her, because I have so much stuff in my house that I need to get rid of, and I've been donating a lot of it, but I've been told that where I donate stuff, they throw a lot of stuff away. And that really bothers me, because I don't donate bad stuff. I donate good stuff. I don't donate torn clothes. I don't donate stained clothes. So that it really bothered me to find out that they throw stuff away. You know, if nothing else, put a free bin out there, let somebody else have it. My daughter volunteered there in high school, and I would randomly drop off, you know, stuff there, and she would know what it was. And she told me one day, she's like, Mama, that bag you carried of coats and stuffed animals, she's like, they threw the whole thing away. I'm like, okay, that had coats that y'all outgrew that were very nice. We're in Louisiana, we don't need coats. I mean, really. But that year, we had gone to Washington, D.C., and it was cold. And we had, thank goodness we had a coat. We had bought coats beforehand, because I was like, y'all never know. You never know. And it was Easter. And it had snow on the ground when we were in D.C. And it was a school trip, and my husband and I were chaperones. So, and I mean, these coats that would fit my kids, I couldn't always find them. And I think I found these on sale at Dillard's for like $40 a piece. You know, and that's not a lot for a coat, but for a teenage girl, and it was those cute little bubble coats. Anyway, found out they threw that, and that's the only time she ever wore it, was to DC. And they threw it away, the whole bag. And I'm like, okay, it's winter time. Somebody needs that coat. And I asked her why, and she said, well, one of the stuffed animals apparently shedded in there. And she told me, she said, well, they said it looked like cat hair, so they threw it all away. I have cats, but when things get put in bags, they immediately get put in a bag and tied up so my cats aren't on them. That's intentional. But so from now on, I won't carry good things there at all, because somebody can use them. And I haven't had the time really to talk to like the good local Goodwill. I haven't had time to talk to them to see, you know, what they do and things like that, because I just don't want it thrown away, because I could throw it away as easy as they can. But if it's good, why would I throw it away? I don't understand that. You know, I'm sure they had an influx or overflow of items, you know, but you just don't want your hard-earned money thrown away when somebody else can use it. Give it away free. I could have done that. But I thought, you know, I would help them out because they do help women and children. The abused women and children. They have some kind of fund that goes to that, I believe. Now, granted, this was years ago. It seems to be going pretty quick. Well, I'm only on the back side. I haven't made it to the front side yet. Now, I am still using that Dove Gray. And I'm debating on changing that out when I go to sew the top, because that Dove Gray will show through the red. Not a lot, but it does show through. I'm at 3/8 and finding that I have a light. It's a laser light on my machine that pinpoints where my needle is going. That's how I can feel things and then put my needle in it. I'm not that good yet, so I probably will never be, because I rely on that a lot. And it just helps be more accurate. So that's why I really rely on it, is because of the accuracy. Now, I did not pin all the way down this. And I think binding is probably what most people struggle with. I know it was my biggest struggle for sure. Well, actually getting points to come out is a big struggle for me too, but it comes with practice, and I'm still practicing. I do my best on it, and that's all I can do. My favorite saying, perfectly imperfect. That's how I sew. That's how I am. So I was not made perfect. So guys, what are y'all doing? Well, when you see this, it is probably, today's Friday. You'll probably see it Saturday. I'm hoping Saturday. And y'all will see me keeping an eye on the time for my hair appointment. That's why my hair is still a little wet. I just showered it because I mowed around my little garden bed this morning what I could. There's some areas I can't mow, but I have a little greenhouse in mind, maybe a little potting shed or a greenhouse in mind that I would not mind putting out in my little area. It's a very treed area. So I have an area in my little garden that gets a good amount of sun in the wintertime. And that's what I'm thinking about, wintertime. I'm not thinking about summertime. Because if I need cover in the summer, I can put a shade cloth over. I can put some cattle panels up and do that. Which I'm probably going to have to do it, because these past couple years we've been having like serious over 100-degree temps, and my little fruit trees just aren't. I have a crabapple tree and a fig tree, and neither one of them has put off fruit. So I don't know if it's what it is. Okay, guys, so we are coming down to our last edge. We're almost back at our starting point, and I am making sure I'm sewing off that corner. And for some people, this is probably a lot of trouble, just trimming off the corner, cutting the thread, and then turning it. But that's the easiest way for me to do it. Now, I am going to go back around and trim my little dog ears off from where I sewed my bind together, my strips together for the binding, because they are poking out. Now, this one here, this is the edge I've already sewn the binding right here. I'm going to only sew so far, so I can get that binding on there, you know, to kind of go together. Well, not kind of go together, to go together. So I've marked it with this clip, and I'll know to stop when I get to that clip. And I'll show y'all again, because I've shown you before how I bind. And I may not have to show you all my bindings every time I do it, but we all like to see a project completed 100%. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little extra room right here, and I am going to take off my tray here so I can do this a little better. Okay, here you are on my table. What I am doing, let's find our center here. This is just a guesstimate where the center is of the 2 strips. I am going to clip this one here. I'm going to get a little bit away from that because I do have to press this so you can see what I'm doing. I'd like to give it about between these 2 pieces here, and I know that's hard to say, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little more, but 1/8 of an inch works really well. So what I'm going to do is clip this right here, and I am going to press these 2 pieces right here. Okay, now that I have pressed these 2 pieces, I have to remember this. I always forget how to do this. You have to open it up. It is going to be right sides together. Now I'm trying to see. Let me do this. This is always a good idea too, to pull your 2 pieces together to give you all that extra room. Okay, so you have this. So I have to remember how it goes. We got this, and then we got this. And you want these X's to go together. So I'm going to pin to just test. Find my little point in there, my point there. And a lot of times it will just nest right together. I need a pin. Let me get my pin. When I do my binding, like sewing the binding, I always pin it. I'm going to go ahead and get these put together here. Okay. I've got it put together, so now I am going to mark it. Now, if you'll notice, when I lay, this may be right, this may work. I make sure that my plus sign there is straight. From here, what I do is I lay my marking tool so I can see each corner. I have my friction pin. I know you cannot see it. I'm so very sorry. But I have to see it. So let's see if that worked. I'm hoping that was correct. If not, I'll just take it out and do it again. But never cut until you have tested. And I do find this is the best way to test to see if it's going to work, is just to sew it together. A lot of people probably would not do this. They may have a different way of testing it. This is how I test it. It's the best way for me. So, how I test it, I'm going to take these pins out. Now, y'all are going to see if this works or not. Take that clip off. Okay. Oh, it works, y'all. Look at that. Let me get that out of the way so you can see how that works. Just make sure it's working on both sides. Okay, so this is, and another thing that we're making sure that works is the length good. Is that length good? And yes, it is. So what I'm going to do now is trim this. So to trim it, I'm still going to clip these two pieces together on the sides. I use my marking tool and my rotary cutter to do this. And I'm going to trim right here 1/4 of an inch. I lay that line down there. So now what I need to do is trim all these little dog ears off of it. I may even press that. Okay, so now I have it pressed, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to go all the way around, find my little doggy ears here, trim them all off. Okay, so now I'm going to put my tray back on. This is the amazing thing I think about Bernina's, is you can remove that tray and get it out of your way. So let's find where we're not attached, right here. And we are going to attach. We're going to get back on that 3/8 inch. And we are just going to sew this all the way down until we meet up where we started. Okay. I have met back up where I started. So now I'm going to turn you guys back up and we'll start sewing on the front. Okay, so now we are back to sew on the front. Oh, I'm gonna have to undo the whole thing. 3/8 is too much. Oh goodness. Well, I'll undo it and we'll be right back. And honestly, y'all, this looks like I did a 1/2 inch. I must have done a 1/2 inch. But I'm gonna get it undone and re-sew it. But I'm probably going to do a side at a time, so hopefully it does not change where I attached. It shouldn't. I'm hoping it doesn't. Okay, y'all, I am now done. I just showed y'all some of my ripping out. I am going to have to do a little clean up on this once it's done. You have to sew this one on 1/4 of an inch. I don't know why I didn't think about this, but this was only like a 2-inch binding strip. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start right here in the center. I'm going to pull, fold over, and I'm making sure to not pull it too tight because I don't want to create a ripple in here. So kind of what I'm doing is going to that 1/4 of an inch stitch, and being that this is the same fabric as what is the border, you're not going to be able to tell a big difference in it. Now here at the corner, put a lot of clips in this, and I realized if I don't put clips, it kind of gets a little messy. So I am going to put clips in all of this over here just to make sure I have a good mitered edge. And I may only do this corner first, and then got to poke that corner out just a little bit. That one's not looking so hot, but oh well. Making sure that's secured down really good. Okay, I think this is all I'm going to clip right now. So I'm going to get started sewing this binding down. Now, I will sew this binding down at like 1/8 of an inch, I'm guessing. What I'll really be doing is lining up on the inside of my foot. Now this is where it does get a little tricky, because you don't want to over-roll your binding, but yet you don't want to have it where it's not covered. Okay, so now we're getting to that mitered corner. What I will do is sew right onto, now I'm just making sure my binding is staying even, and when I get one stitch in onto that other, now this thing's not going to be a pretty corner, nothing like that, because I notice it's not pretty at all. Okay, so now I've got that done. So what I'm going to do here is just start clipping this one down. Well, I probably don't even need to clip. Let me just see what I can do without the clips. I definitely need the clips on the corners, but I think I can probably do the rest without the clips. And y'all, even with my little mishap there that I did, I don't know why I didn't. I guess pay attention to how big your strips are. If they're only 2 inches wide, then you're definitely going to do a smaller seam on the back side. And another thing, when you're sewing your binding, if you've got it, if you're machine sewing it, I just noticed I did this. That's why I just thought about this. Make sure your bind is not rolling up on the inside of that foot, because when it does that, it doesn't look pretty either. But being that this is going to sit on my coffee table, nobody's going to notice it. It may actually have a cat laying on it on my coffee table, so, because I don't know why, but my cats love my coffee table to sleep on. And we will just keep rolling this. And I don't know if I told y'all, but we're at an hour and a half right now, even with my mishap that I had of having to rip it out. Not once, but twice, because I thought I was doing it at a 3/8, and I was actually doing it at a half. I went back and did it one side at a 3/8 and realized that ain't going to work either. So that's when I realized this is only a 2-inch strip. So I had to go back and do it all at a 1/4 inch. But you know what? You live and learn, and that's a very big motto in sewing as well. Nobody starts out knowing how to do all of this, and my brain was just not thinking about how wide that strip was, that it wasn't as wide as I'm used to using. I normally use a 2.5 inch strip. And I guess that will allow for the 3/8 inch. And I am noticing that the dove gray, you can definitely see it on this binding, but I don't think it's going to be a distraction, really. It doesn't look real bad. It doesn't look bad at all. So I'm getting close to this next corner, so I'm pressing that corner out, making sure it will, I guess, miter. So we are coming up on our last corner here in just a bit. I know I've been speeding you up through this because it's the same thing all the way. But I hope you're getting your sewing in, even if you're just sitting in your sewing room watching me, and that's fine too. So now I'm pressing this last corner out so we can get that flattened up. Well, y'all, we have gotten this done. even with all the rip outs that I had to do, and I do have some cleaning up I have to do on this, but overall, if you don't look at all the strings hanging out, that looks so cute. Now see, the binding you really can't see because it's the same as the border. But this is the April 2024 Open Gate Quilt Box Big Project completed. Y'all, I love this. I love Open Gate Quilt Boxes. Just saying. If they ever want to share the love, have me try out a box or something, I'd be happy to do that. Because I love this box. I love these projects. They're so easy. I could have probably gotten this done in a weekend. You know, just a little weekend project from start to finish. So, that is beautiful, guys. And I would like to thank all of you for coming and joining me today. The next video you see, all of this will be different. It will be fixed. I tend to postpone getting my hair done. I'm not one of those girls. I like nails and all that, but I've just got a very busy lifestyle that doesn't allow me to do things like that. Well, I could do it, but I'd have to wear gloves all the time, and I don't do that. So, guys, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Feel free to subscribe if you have not yet. Comment, tell me what you think. And as always, until I see you again, have a very blessed day. Goodbye.